Alright, today we're going to be talking about the Fair.com, the Fair app, and the Jeep Renegade that I just purchased last week. So, first things first is you're going to download the App Store or Google Play Store, whatever store you use. It's going to ask you for some information, driver's license. To my experience was just a driver's license. Now, so you register all that stuff, your address, blah, blah, blah. It gives you a estimate down payment and a bunch of cars in the area. So, first thing I did was start looking at cars. And you can adjust the down payment type. So basically I went through a bunch of cars, found a Jeep that I wanted. A Jeep Renegade. So what I did was I went through brand, typed in Jeep, and hit search in the app, and I found a bunch of Jeeps that I liked, and I don't want to pay more monthly than, I didn't want to go over $350. Everybody's down payment's going to be different depending on how they rate you. I don't know how they figure that out, but they wind up doing it. So let me find a Renegade. So here's a Renegade. So I went in the Renegade now. Since I think I already have a car loaded and purchased through this, I'm only allowed to tap back once for the down payment, which is $910. Now, before I purchased a car, I could tap back like 3 times, and my down payment was like $600, and my monthly payment was like, I don't know, say around $360. So that's what I wind up doing: $360 monthly payment with a down payment of $600. So after I did all that, paid the down payment, I was waiting on Fair to get back to me. I was doing a lot of chatting back and forth. You go right up in the corner there, hit the little phone button, and you can ask you what you want to do, chat, whatnot, or all kinds of different questions. So I did that back and forth, and they said they're waiting for the dealership. Now, I did know where the car was, the dealership, and I did call the dealership, and they were aware that I purchased a car through Fair, and they did talk to a Fair associate. So there's a lot of back and forth between the dealership and the Fair company. They got to get all this paperwork done because the Fair company's buying the car off the dealership. So 2 days went by. I bought it on a Thursday morning, and then all of a sudden it was Saturday. So I said, let me start chatting again, and nobody could give me an answer on, but they're waiting for the dealership. That's all I heard. So I took it upon myself to call the dealership. And, you go back and forth because not everybody's aware at the dealership. You got to get the right person. So I wound up leaving a message with somebody, and they would get back to me. And I got a great phone call from the dealership from some lady who was very nice, who knew all about the car. And all she told me was the car will be ready next week because they had to fix a mechanical issue in the radio. That's great. And, and I went back on Fair, chatted with them, and they were aware of that. So somebody did contact them too also. So, I was patient. Monday came by, I waited. Tuesday came by. I said, let me give somebody a call. So I called the dealership again. They said they might have it back today, the car, which was Tuesday. So I was like, oh, great. Next thing I know, I get a phone call. The car's ready. Then I contact Fair, and Fair told me they got to contact the dealership again and get it all set up, get what time I got to pick it up, blah, blah, blah. So a little back and forth, no big deal. So eventually I got a first name basic on a person at the dealership. His name was Nick, and he gave me his phone number, and he said he'll be there all night. I can pick up the car. So I let Fair know that I was aware of somebody at the dealership and that I can pick up the car at night. And that was no problem. So they said they would even give me a free Uber. And since it took longer, this is the best part, it took longer for me to get the car because there was a little mechanical issue they had to fix with the radio. which I did ask the guy at the dealership, and he sent me a picture of the radio they fixed. They just put a new screen in it. Apparently there was a little crack in the screen before, so that's all they did was they put a new screen on the radio. So that was great. So after all that, with Fair, chatting back and forth about going to pick up the car, they said they were going to knock off additional $250 off my down payment. My down payment was like $600, so it was $250 off that. It wound up being, like $450. Is my math right there? No, $350. Sorry. So that was great. I was like, I can't complain. So before I went to pick up the car, I had to go through the insurance process. So I was like, all right, let me see how much the Fair insurance is, because they offer insurance. I was paying $120 for my Kia Sportage insurance a month through Progressive. So I did the Fair app insurance, and it wound up being $20 a week. So now it winds up being $80 a month, which is, $40 cheaper than what I'm paying now. So I was like, I can't beat that. So I wound up doing the Fair insurance, and with the Fair insurance and the car monthly, see if I can pull that up for you. I'm paying $452. Now I had a Kia Sportage, which I was paying with the insurance. I was paying $420 a month for the payment for the car plus insurance. I was paying $540 a month for my Kia Sportage, which I wasn't even into the Kia Sportage. So I wound up selling that car afterwards. Long story, I don't want to even get involved in that. And getting in this car for cheaper. Now I'll never get to own this car, but I will be able to have a newer Jeep with all the bells and whistles. It has everything in it. I'll go show you a picture outside in a minute. And I'm just, I'm happier with it. So let me take a little walk outside, and I'll show you the car. Puppy. All right. Turn my shoes on real quick. And if you see it out there, there it is. A Renegade. And no tags yet. It's got a loaner tag in the back. They're going to mail me my tags and my registration within the next week or two, they said. That's pretty much it. So the Fair app does work. All I could say is, when you do the Fair app, let me show you here what I did. Shop cars. Let me do Jeep again. I'll do a 350 again to get the cheaper cars here. Then we go back to the Renegade. This was one of the other ones I was looking at. So right there, it tells me where the car's at. So I went on that website, and I give you even more specs on it. And then if you have any questions, you can call the dealership and make sure everything's good. So once you have the dealership and you're communicating with somebody with the dealership, that's a plus. So I would recommend doing that. Having a relationship also with the dealership, not just the Fair people. It's just a good thing to do. I mean, even if the day after I picked up the car, I even had somebody from the dealership ask me if anything I needed to call them and let them know. So to me, that's just a plus. I don't know, this is a good thing. So that's pretty much it. I went and picked up the car. I mean, I had to drive an hour away because that's the one I wanted. That kind of sucked, but other than that, there was places 10 minutes away from here where I live. There's, half hour. So there's different options. But like I said, you just got to set up an automatic payment with them, And it's got to be like one of the major banks. You can't have any third-party types of payment stuff. That's the only thing. I always use third-party. I had like a PayPal account I use for my paychecks and stuff, so that didn't work. So I had to go up to TD Bank and open up a checking account there and debit card so I can get that information in the system. So that was the only thing I had to do separately. Other than that, they send you all your documents. My car is still under manufacturer warranty, so I have that. I also have from Fair is a vehicle maintenance plan, which is awesome too. You can get 2 free oil changes a year, which that's all you need anyway. So that you can't beat that. So free oil changes. If you drive over 10,000 miles, there's a different plan for that. I don't go over 10,000 miles a year, so that wasn't a problem with me, but you can bump that up, and it was really cheap. It was only like $20 more if you wanted 20,000 miles a year. So it wasn't a whole lot. They have roadside assistance. So in case you have any type of issues, you have that. You know, you get your insurance papers, which they're going to mail me a copy of that, or you can just print it out. What else is there? The agreements, vehicle agreement. This is a bunch of little stuff that you go through after buying a car, and just checking it off, and there's just a little signature you do, and that's pretty much it. So, like I said, this thing works great. I mean, I can have no complaints about it. Promotions, there's a code. There's a $100 off code, and it's all over the internet. So all you gotta do is Google it, and it's there. But like I said, they gave me $250 off, and offered me a free Uber ride to go get the car. So I couldn't beat that. So any questions? Let me know. Sorry if the videos suck, but I'm an amateur YouTuber, and I don't gotta do all the bells and whistles. It's just some information. So enjoy, and like I said, Fair works, and I'll find out when I get bored of this car, trade in a new one and get something different. I could have got a 2019 Nissan Altima and paid $280 a month for it. 2019, and my credit is awful, so I could have did that and been a lot cheaper. But I wanted an SUV and those kind of goodies, so I wound up paying more. But like I said, can't beat it, because I'll never own a car. I'll never be able to get a new car because my credit's not good. And if I had great credit, I can understand why you would finance a car and have those low payments a month. If you have that good credit, and you know, like $4,000 or $5,000 to put down on a new car, then that's for you. But if you're just like me with bad credit, then I think the Fair app is pretty good. At least you get a nice drivable vehicle. You can trade it in anytime you want. You know, you definitely lose the down payment. You gotta pay another down payment, but that just makes sense, because that's anything you do with that, with a vehicle. If you get a new vehicle, you gotta put another down payment in. So, all those haters out there for the Fair app, I get it. If you want to own a car, it's not the way to go. But if you don't want to own a car, the heck's the difference? So, enjoy. Any questions, let me know. Peace.